Hello there and welcome. Have you ever looked at your payslip and just had that little nagging voice in your head saying, "Am I paying too much tax?" Well, you might just be right. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to figure out if HMRC actually owes you money, and more importantly, how you can get it back. Right, let's jump straight in. Look at this number, £2,242. Now, that's not a made-up figure. According to HMRC's own data, that is the average tax refund owed to thousands upon thousands of people all over the UK. We're not talking about a few quid found down the back of the sofa. This is a serious amount of your own money that could be sitting in the taxman's pocket instead of yours. So, to make sure this guide is absolutely spot on, we've teamed up with the experts at My Tax Accountant. These folks live and breathe the UK tax system every single day, and they're here with us to help cut through all the jargon and make this whole refund thing crystal clear. Here's a quick look at our game plan. We'll explore why you might have overpaid in the first place, arm you with a personal tax toolkit, run a super quick check, show you how to claim, and then point you in the right direction if you need some expert help. Sound good? Let's get to it. Okay, first things first. Why does this even happen? I mean, you'd think the PAYE system would be foolproof, right? But honestly, overpayments happen way more often than you'd imagine. It's surprisingly easy to fall into one of a few very common traps. So, be honest. Have you ever glanced at your payslip, seen that little string of numbers and letters, your tax code, and just thought, what on earth does that even mean? Is it right? Well, you are definitely not alone. That little code is basically the instruction your boss gets on how much tax to take, and if it's wrong, you're the one who pays the price. And here's a perfect example of what I mean. Meet Alex, an engineer from Manchester. He started a new job, and his new company popped him on an emergency tax code. Simple mistake, but before he got it sorted, he'd already overpaid by a whopping 800 quid. It's such a classic story of how a small admin slip-up can cost you big time. So, what is a tax code, really? Put simply, it tells your employer how much of your income is tax-free. For the 2025-26 tax year, the standard code is 1257L. The number bit, 1257, stands for your 12,570 personal allowance. The L just means you get the standard allowance. If you see any other letters or numbers, it means something a bit different is going on with your tax. As we saw with Alex, that emergency code is a major culprit, but there are plenty of others. Maybe you've got more than one job and your tax-free allowance hasn't been shared properly. Or, and this is a big one, maybe you're not claiming for things you're entitled to, like washing your work uniform or buying tools for your job. And with the personal allowance being frozen for a while, even a small pay rise can silently push you into a higher tax bracket, a sneaky thing called bracket creep. All right, now that we know why you might be overpaying, let's get you kitted out with your personal tax toolkit. These are the absolute essentials you'll need to check your own tax position for this year. And here is a pro tip. Seriously, if you do just one thing after watching this, make it this. Go and set up your personal tax account on the gov.uk website. It's completely free, and it is your single source of truth. It shows you everything HMRC knows about you. Your tax code, your income, what you've paid. It's the best possible place to start. Now, for most of the UK, that's England, Northern Ireland, and Wales, these are your tax bands for 2025/26. You don't pay a penny on the first £12,570. After that, you pay 20% on the next chunk, and so on. The key thing to remember is that these bands are frozen, which means as your wages go up, more of your money can tip over into those higher tax rates. But stay with me here. The next point might surprise you. If you live in Scotland, your tax situation is a whole different ballgame. You see, Scotland has 6 tax bands, all with their own rates and thresholds. It's way more complex, which means, you guessed it, there's more room for mistakes. If you're a Scottish taxpayer, you'll know it because your tax code will start with a big S. And here's a little did you know for you, one that catches a lot of higher earners out. That tax-free personal allowance of £12,570, it's not set in stone. The moment you start earning over 100 grand, it begins to shrink. And by the time you're earning £125,140, poof, it's completely gone. This is a massive tax trap that can lead to a very nasty surprise if it's not factored into your tax code properly. Okay, we've covered the why and the what. Now it's time for the how. This is the really practical part. We're going to walk through a really simple 5-minute check that you can do yourself to get a pretty good idea if you've paid too much tax. If you're an employee on PAYE, this one's for you. First, Grab your documents. Your P60 from the end of the tax year is the golden ticket here. Then log into that personal tax account we talked about. Do the numbers match up? After that, try a quick back-of-a-napkin calculation. Take your total pay, subtract the personal allowance, and multiply it by the basic tax rate of 20%. How does that number compare to what's on your P60? If it's way off, something might be up. Now, for all you freelancers and self-employed people watching, expenses are everything. That's not all. Here's where most people go wrong. Take Ayesha, a freelance designer. She completely forgot to claim for her home office costs and some crucial software subscriptions. A quick check of her books found £1,800 in expenses she'd missed, which led directly to a £600 refund. Brilliant! So, for the self-employed, here's your checklist. It all comes down to being organized. First, add up every single penny of income. Then, the crucial bit, list and subtract every single allowable business expense. Your travel, your subscriptions, your home office costs, the whole shebang. What's left is your profit. Take away your personal allowance, work out the tax on the rest, and then compare that to what you've already sent to HMRC. If you've paid them more than you owe, well, that's a refund. All right, so you've done your homework, you've run the numbers, and you're pretty sure you're owed some cash. What's next? This section is all about the practical bit, how to turn that discovery into actual money in your bank account. Now, how you claim really depends on your circumstances. Sometimes, if you're lucky, HMRC will spot it themselves and send you a letter called a P800 and a check in the post, but don't count on it. If you're an employee claiming for expenses, you'll use a Form P87 online. If you're self-employed, you just go back and amend your tax return. And if you've recently left a job, the form for you is the P50. This chart really tells the story. Have a look. A massive 40% of all refund claims are because of a wrong tax code. Another 30% come from people not claiming their work expenses. These two are by far the biggest reasons people get money back. It just shows where you should be focusing your attention. Of course, while you're doing your checks, there's a chance you might find the opposite, that you've actually underpaid. Now, don't panic. It is so much better for you to find this out than for HMRC to find it for you. You can just let them know, usually through your tax account, and they can sort it out, often by just adjusting your tax code for the next year so you can pay it back gradually. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's wrap things up by talking about your next steps and what to do if all this still feels a little bit overwhelming. So what are the most important things to remember? Number 1, always check your tax code, especially when you change jobs. 2, get that gov.uk personal tax account set up. It's your best friend. 3, understand the tax bands for this year. 4, if you're self-employed, track every single expense. And finally, number 5, be proactive. Don't just wait for HMRC to find a mistake. Take control of your own money. Look, you can do a lot of this yourself, but sometimes you just need a professional eye to look things over. If you've got a few different income streams, run your own business, or you just want that peace of mind, getting expert help is a really smart move. The team at My Tax Accountant are ready to help, and you can get in touch with them using the details right here on the screen. And for more simple guides like this one, make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.